Welcome into another episode of the Tailgate. Probably the best scenery I've had to date on one of these. We're in the historic Cahaba Homestead Village in Trussville, Alabama. And today I'm talking with Amy Peterson O'Brien. Amy, thank you for hopping on, literally.
Happy to hop on, Gary.
So, full disclosure, we're both members of the Cahaba Homestead Heritage Foundation. Amy's the president. What am I?
You wear several hats.
Social media
historian,
poster,
social media guy.
jack of all trades.
Yes.
I do a little. I don't do as much as you do, but I do a little bit of a lot, I guess. But anyway, we formed in early 2021, correct?
That's right, very beginning of the year.
About 2 years ago, and we've been busy ever since.
It has been. I know. It dawned on me at the beginning of this year, like we're going on year 3.
I know.
How did that fly by? And we hit the ground running as soon as we began, and chose the direction of a nonprofit because it made the most sense for what the mission was all about.
Yeah, exactly. So right now, what we're really going to talk about, we'll get into some of our CHHF stuff, but upcoming April 27th through April 30th, we have our first annual Heritage Days event, 4-day event. Really the big event is that Saturday, April 29th, all throughout the project area of Trussville, the mall. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Let's just go chronological. So April 27th, that Thursday, what's happening that day? Who's coming?
All right, who's coming that day? The Alabama plein air artists are coming. Plein air just means they're outside painting from life in the open air, not inside an art studio. And it's a French word, goes back a few centuries. And the Alabama plein air artists get together at least once a month, and they paint all over the state of Alabama. I've been hoping to have them here for years, and I've just it's difficult with the kids being the ages they were, as young as they were. But I've been an active member of that group for a long time, and that I'm going to say at least a dozen of those artists will come. It could be upwards of 20. The call will go out shortly, probably next week, for signups. And they'll be painting on Thursday throughout the neighborhood. They'll be painting. Some might choose to go along the Cahaba River, all within the Cahaba Project. And Friday, same thing. Some artists will come, sunrise or just after sunrise, and get an early start and start painting again. And then, and so look around town. If you're driving or walking or jogging through the neighborhood, you might stop and see them. And good etiquette is to say hello, ask if you can take a picture if they don't mind. Or Friday evening, we have the G's Bend Quilters from Boykin, Alabama, coming, and we'll have the welcome that evening at the library.
That's a big deal having them come.
That's a huge deal. They've never been to Trussville before, and we are, the Cahaba Project and G's Bend Farms shares a Great Depression origin story. And they've never been here. They've been everywhere else. It's about time we had them here. So it is a big deal.
Yeah, and I actually just got, that's going through at the library. So that Friday night, their welcome, I believe, begins at 6:30.
Right. Doors will open at 6 for people that want to come and see the quilts a little bit early. They will have quilts for sale.
Yeah. So I know the library has worked with us on that, and there's a registration link that I've added to our webpage, cahabaheritage.org/heritage-days. And you can find all the event information there, but specifically G's Bend, there's 2 different registrations. So you've got that Friday night for their welcome.
And that's free to the
public. That's a free event.
But because they have a limit of like 200 people in the auditorium, that's why they're doing a registration.
Exactly. And then Saturday, they're back in the morning
for
a workshop. Now that's a paid registration event as well. And you can find all those details at that link I just mentioned. But
can we go ahead and say how much it is and everything? It's incredible. So it's a $50 fee is all for that workshop, which is an incredible value for the experience you get. Sometimes these quilters will lead workshops that are 2, 3, 4 day or more. This is just a one-day experience with them. And at $50, you can't beat it. And that's because the Trussville Public Library and the Friends of the Public Library have been so generous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be really fun. I look forward to, as part of Saturday, kind of, I think I'm going to kind of bounce around a little bit Saturday and, try to duck
You're
my
going to
head
bounce
in
around
there.
a lot, actually.
I'm going to bounce around a lot. I'm going to have all these devices charged and cameras and
Yeah.
recorders, and my goodness, I'll be a backpack journalist that day, I guess. But let's talk about
You're gonna have to
Saturday.
be mobile. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
Saturday,
there's a lot.
you got the workshop starting at 9 o'clock for
Right.
everyone participating there from 9 to 4.
Okay.
The library closes at 4, so it kind of
Right.
just falls in line with that. And from 2 to 4, we've got the pickleball exhibition on the mall courts.
Yeah.
So that'll be a lot of fun. There, how many teams?
I think the way it's going to be divided up, I think there will be a total of 24 players.
Okay.
I think it's like, I forget exactly how it's broken up, but I think it's teams of 4, but they play doubles matches. So,
Okay.
your 2 people are playing a match, but someone else that's part of your 4 is playing another match.
Gotcha.
That way we fill up all 6 mall pickleball courts.
Okay.
At a time. That's just the way the numbers worked out.
And just a point-based system.
I don't know exactly how it works.
Okay.
I'm still learning pickleball. I've had my hand in some pickleball over the last year.
You have.
I've learned about construction for pickleball, but I have not learned the game. But I think that's coming over these next few weeks. I think me and maybe Senator Shea Shelnut will talk about some points. I've been asking him questions already. Help me understand pickleball, because I've never been a tennis guy. I've never been a pickleball guy. I love ping pong.
And this is not a regular pickleball game. This is an exhibition, which is like a quicker, pace, maybe shorter game.
Yeah, I think especially
scenario.
because we've got a 2-hour time frame that they're going to be able to play, so they're going to get in probably as much as they can in those 2 hours that we've got those courts reserved. And I think we're all going to learn a little bit about pickleball.
Good.
So that's 2 to 4 on Saturday.
Yeah, 2 to 4, and I don't know if there's going to be a winner, but we've got something special for winners.
We do. We'll keep that under our hats for now, but we do have something special for the winner, winning team or something. So
maybe it'll just be people's choice.
People's choice.
Yeah.
Who had the best day? Who stood out? So that 2 to 4.
That's 2 to 4.
What's at 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock. The artists that have been painting from Thursday and Friday and Saturday are going to have an art show. They're going to have all those freshly painted paintings put into frames, looking real nice. They do this. We're professionals. Now, many of us are professionals, semi-professionals. You've got some beginning artists and hobby artists. You've got a nice range in that group, and we're going to have those paintings on. Like you expect when you go to an outdoor art festival.
Sure.
You see them hanging on the screens, and the artists are there to talk to you. You can ask where they painted it. We'll be sure and ask the artist to put the street and the location. It's great to have that on the back of the painting. So if you walk up to the art show, you're going to see places you recognize.
Yeah, and that'll be under the pavilion on the mall.
Under the pavilion on the mall. So if you're there for the pickleball game, you just walk right over for the art show.
Yep.
If you were in the workshop at for the quilters, walk right over for the art show.
Yeah.
And then overlapping the art show from 4 to 6.
Yep.
At 5 o'clock, we start the concert on the mall, and it's a concert picnic because we want everyone to pack their dinner, go buy it from a restaurant downtown. They're going to be offering Heritage Days deals. Pack that family dinner for 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and come on down and bring your lawn chair.
Yeah, and it's blankets. Like the big thing these days are the food trucks at various events, but we kind of wanted I guess a little bit of a different vibe there, and to get the local businesses that want to participate involved in that way. Hey, pick this up at whatever restaurant it might be. It's a Heritage Day deal. Grab your dinner, bring picnic, like you said, bring your lawn chairs, bring your blankets on the mall, and then you're going to come listen to a lot of good music. Oh,
we've got some good music lined up. And also, some of those businesses can, they'll bring your dinner to you. So if you want to schedule it to be there at 4:45 or 5, that makes your life a little easier.
It does.
If you've got a busy Saturday.
It does. So who's playing?
We are kicking off with the national anthem, first of all. Okay. And I'm looking forward to that because we had several great recommendations that we followed up on from folks that say, oh, you got to ask so-and-so to sing. Yeah. So we have a great pool to choose from. And then the Birmingham Heritage Jazz Band will perform from 5 to 6 p.m. with an 18-piece orchestra.
That's gonna be awesome.
The bandstand, on the actual legit bandstand that was built as a bandstand. That is a 24 by 48 concrete,
It's big.
slab on a mound,
Yeah,
and it's going to be phenomenal.
it is. So there, I mean,
Director is Mr. Bowberry,
yeah,
and it's been I feel just honored every time I
yeah,
speak into the director of that
hmm
Birmingham's longest running
yeah,
jazz band.
yeah. I mean, that's going to be a tough act to follow, but
It
somebody's
is.
got to.
So here's the neat thing: they're going to bring some swing
Okay.
to the mall.
Yeah,
Okay, some really lively music, hitting on music from the 30s and the 40s, harkening back to when the Cahaba Project began.
sure.
And then for the second hour, we've got some local acts. We've got the senior adult choir from the First Baptist Church of
Yeah,
Trussville, and then we've got the youth choir from
from Cahaba
Shine from
Elementary.
Cahaba Elementary,
Yeah,
and they've got a spring Shine. It has a big spring performance, and so this is going to be like a um, sneak preview, if you will,
yeah,
or just
yeah.
another, great way for those kids to show how hard they work,
Mm.
because they do put on the shows for the students and their parents. But this is going to offer them a chance
Yeah,
to show their stuff to a much broader audience.
right.
So we can't wait for that.
Yeah. And then Highway 11
Yes,
band.
that's right. So that, and then for the
Okay.
last hour, we've got Highway 11 band, and they're going to take us. Remember, I was talking about the 30s and the 40s
Yeah.
music. They're going to come on from about Elvis onward and bring
Okay.
us into to present day with some
Yeah.
classic rock and roll, some
Love it.
blues.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's going to be a good time.
I think I've heard them play some Eagles out at
Yeah,
the farmers market from time to time. They're good.
we
So
better have some Eagles in there too.
I love the Eagles. I love the Eagles. So hopefully a little bit of
Maybe
man. I
they
can't
take
even.
requests. I don't
I was about
know.
to say I mean, if I'm emceeing in some way, if I'm doing
And you will be, right? Just go ahead and
yeah,
accept
I
that.
mean, I guess it's out there now. Maybe hey, if I have the microphone, you know what? I'm gonna come up with a request list. I
Yeah.
might let y'all request some, but I don't know.
What if we had a little box out there for people on the mall to
Like a
put in requests?
suggestion
Yeah,
box or
yeah.
something. Okay. Freebird's number one. You always have to request Freebird. Anyway,
100%.
yeah. So I mean, that's Saturday. That's the big day, and
That's the big day. So
it
picture it from 5 to 8, sun's going down, this
yeah,
kind of spring, weather we
yes.
have. The lights will be on the pavilion. We've got our lights and
Hmm.
sound guy taking care of
Yeah,
everything. And, people just enjoying themselves. We'll probably have some cornhole boards out there
yeah,
on the mall and maybe some other activities. And then the
yeah.
playground is right there for the
Yep.
kids. Parents can have their eye on and ears on the music and their
Hmm.
eyes on the kids. And it's just going to be a good
Yeah,
time.
and I know the Trussville Historical Society they're gonna bring a booth out there. The
That's right.
merchandise they sell, I'm a part of that group too, and I know they're gonna be out there, and we'll have some various people out there, kind of
That's right.
showcasing and being a part of it as well. So it's going to be a really good event, and it feels like all of that kind of crescendos on Saturday night, but there's more
There's
on
more.
Sunday.
And also, if it rains on Saturday,
Oh yeah.
the music is from 5 to 8, same time on Sunday.
Sunday. So we have a
Um,
makeup day for just the music.
just for the music. That's right.
Yeah.
Pickleball players, you're going to be in the rain, and everyone's going to still love and cheer you on.
Yes,
So,
from under the mall pavilion.
and the art show, if this gets rained out,
Yeah.
the art, regardless, is going to the
They're gonna
library
yeah.
on exhibit for a month. So all May long, folks in the neighborhood and beyond can
Yeah.
come and see those, and I hope they do.
Mhm.
Come and enjoy that artwork, and they can contact the artist if they want
Yeah.
to purchase a piece.
That's cool.
So Sunday,
Yep.
rain or shine, the home tour from 1 to 4,
Yep.
and we are so excited about that. We've got there'll be 4 homes on the tour.
Mhm.
And this is the historic area, right? This is
Right.
Trussville's historic district, and these homes were built from 1936 to 1938. Every home on the tour will have been built during that time frame.
Yeah.
We know at least one of them has the original footprint, which is very cool if you've never gone into one of these original
Exactly.
homes and seen kind of the size of the kitchen and the
Right.
original countertops and the cabinetry, some flooring, original
Yeah.
flooring, the little service kind of side porch
Yeah.
where the milkman would deliver your milk,
Yeah.
all of
I
that,
love the
and they're
transoms.
living the
I love
transoms,
those.
and they're living in it in a modern day way in that
Yep.
same footprint. Very cool to see. And
Yep.
then we've got 1 stories and 2 stories on the tour that have been renovated in a variety of different ways.
Mhm.
And if you'll have a chance to talk to the homeowners
Yeah.
and hear all about, you know, some of the decisions that went into the renovations to meet the needs of a growing family, or just
Sure.
a, you know, a big family that always comes to this house for Thanksgiving, you know,
Yeah.
open floor plan versus keeping these kind of cozier rooms. Um, it's great, and in fact, two of the homes, you've got kids living in it, so it's
Yeah.
a, and like so many people do in this neighborhood
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will get inspired, and they'll have some great ideas to
Yeah.
go home with, based on these really creative um, homeowners
Yeah.
with
And
what they've done.
that home tour is a ticketed thing, a paid thing. We're
Right.
partnering with the Chamber of
Yeah, the
Commerce.
Chamber of Trussville Area Chamber of Commerce is selling the tickets online for $20, and so that $20, of course, gets you your ticket. You show up at the Cahaba Elementary parking lot,
Yeah.
and you will have a check-in booth, and you get your show your receipt, get your ticket, and the shuttle bus will take you to will drop you off at the homes and bring you
Yeah.
back to parking. So whether it's rain or shine, you don't have to worry about.
You'll stay mostly dry.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not gonna have to walk the neighborhood. I mean,
An Accent Limo is doing that for us. They're a
that's
trustful
awesome.
business, and
So you're gonna ride around to these homes in style.
oh yeah.
That's legit. I
I don't
like
know if they'll be in a limo. I think I think it'll be a shuttle bus,
a
but
shuttle
it's a nice
bus.
shuttle bus.
Cool. I may have to get on that at part of my weekend covering stuff. I got to experience the shuttle ride to some of these
Yeah, it'll be
homes
a lot
and
of fun.
go into some of these. I've been into two of them on the tour
Two on the
already,
tour,
so
yeah.
yeah, that'll be cool. So that pretty much wraps up the first Heritage Days, right? Is
It
that
does. Is that not enough? Let's see.
that's I mean,
And there's another. We have a keepsake. I'm so excited
are
about
we
the
gonna we're
keepsake.
gonna keep that under the hat,
Can I
right?
not just say something about it?
Good president.
I'm going to say something about it.
Okay,
So we've
say it.
commissioned Sloss furnaces. We would have commissioned our own furnace, but it stopped operating
So the
last
neighborhood could be
century.
built.
Right.
Stop operating.
This Cahaba Project
Yeah.
wouldn't be here without, you know, if the furnace was still there. But Sloss furnaces in Birmingham, national landmark that they are now, they're creating a keepsake made out of cast iron that we designed, and for the first annual Heritage Days. And I won't say what's on it besides that.
We'll let
So
that be the
that'll be the
surprise.
surprise.
Yeah.
And those will be for sale. Probably Saturday, I think, is the best day to have those out there
I'm sure. Yeah.
on the mall. We'll have a table out there for that. And if they sell out, and they probably, I mean, I think there's a good chance that they will. We'll look into ordering
Another round of them.
round of them. Yeah.
That's going to be cool. I can't wait to see those and see what people think about
Mm-hmm.
those. You know, it's something unique and one of a kind, just kind of like this neighborhood.
Like how you did that?
Yeah, I did. I thought on my feet a little bit. Hey, Rick. See, this is what's cool about this neighborhood too. I see people go by. Y'all have seen me wave a bunch already. People waving from the cars, waving from the mailbox, waving while they're running.
And it's the folks that are, you know, they have a routine, so
They
it's around
do.
the same time of
I
day.
see
I'm
them
like,
all the
oh,
time.
there he is.
Exactly, exactly. Let's talk about the neighborhood just a little, and then we'll wrap this up because
Okay.
we're really talking about Heritage Days. But I mean, we founded in 2021 with the goal of help me with the mission statement because you've got it almost committed to memory. I have to read it.
I like to say it a little more succinctly, but we're here to enhance and promote and perpetuate this historic district and the legacy of the historic district. Bring awareness to it, educate people about it. So education, right? Educate,
Yeah.
enhance, promote, perpetuate. That's what it's about.
Yeah, and we've not to toot our own horn, I guess, but I mean I think we've done a lot in the last 2 years for a startup 501c3 that, you know, I didn't know y'all before this started. I know others on the board knew each other, but I'm the only one who doesn't live in the project. But I love it. I mean,
You know more about the project than a lot of folks who do live in the project, though, and I think that you bring so much to the table, and we're so grateful for that.
Well, I'm grateful for y'all.
Not to mention your skill set, which is like that's why you're jack of all trades. But yeah, this neighborhood, like you said, is one of a kind. I think you were talking about some of the things we've accomplished in this amount of time.
Yeah.
There was no an educational pamphlet describing what this place is, all about how
Yeah.
it began, and we did that. There was a real gap. I mean, there was a need for that,
Yeah.
right? And I'm
Yeah.
surprised it hadn't been done.
Yeah.
We're
There's
we're reaching our centennial, not too far down
not.
the
I'm
road.
not. Yeah.
So we, the Cahaba Homestead Heritage Foundation, created that pamphlet that you'll find at the
City Hall,
City Hall,
library,
yeah, Civic Center,
Heritage
places like
Hall,
that.
Civic Center. Yeah.
They've been provided to fourth graders who are learning about Alabama history. That's another thing we were able to do.
Yeah.
And we'd like to reach out beyond Cahaba Elementary School for fourth graders in Trussville, learning about Alabama history, because our history here in Alabama ties into that national history, and they're learning about the Great Depression too.
It does.
And then that pamphlet didn't feel quite like enough, so because within the Cahaba Project, beyond the neighborhood itself, is the Civitan Park and Veterans Park.
Yep.
So we sponsored, it seemed like a fitting thing to sponsor with the Veterans Committee, which was, they came around not too long, around the same time we did.
They absolutely hit the ground running too. I mean, Chad Carroll and that group is they've done a lot.
It was wonderful to partner with them and create, with their input, a brochure or pamphlet for Civitan and Veterans Park. And so those two pamphlets are kind of like,
They
sister,
supplement each other a little bit.
They really do.
Yeah.
What else?
Let's see, we done Flag Day stuff.
Flag
You've seen
days.
flags on the mailboxes throughout the project.
And I love that, we started that out for sort of a June 14th Flag Day to July 4th display, and many folks have left them up year round.
I've seen some out here. It's March right now, and I've seen some still out.
We need to be looking at that soon, because that's coming up again.
It's coming up.
We've partnered with the Scouts before. We'd like to do that again with the flag retirement ceremony, with the City of Trussville on 75th anniversary signs, it was Trussville's Jubilee year last year.
Yep.
75 years since they incorporated as a town.
That's right.
We've invited guest speakers from architecture to urban development to historians to come and speak at public meetings. We've partnered with the Trussville Public Library and the Birmingham Public Library on a home research program.
That was fun.
And was able to make it more specific to
that was a fun day.
The Cahaba Project.
Yeah.
With the historical board, reached out to them because they've been the historic board of the city and the historical society have a really broad, purview over the city, and we're specifically about the Cahaba Project. But we've been able to work together, and it's just been. I'm grateful for folks like that have started. I don't feel like we're doing anything new, but this torch needs to be carried on.
Exactly.
And that's we're doing that.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because what's Cahaba Elementary now was my middle school. And I was in middle school. I didn't know what the building was. I didn't care.
It's because the Cahaba Homestead Heritage Foundation didn't talk to you in fourth grade.
And that's kind of my thing. And that's it's no disrespect to anybody in the past, but like the more I've gotten into this over the last couple of years, the more I've felt like there has been, the Historical Society, the Historical Board does a wonderful job. It's just a matter of getting people in the building,
Yep.
And sometimes that's tough, but I felt that gap, I guess, is what I'm going a really long way to try to say. And I'm happy that we're trying to kind of fill that gap and kind of bring some people up to speed on where they live, or, what they drive through if they don't live in the project. Right. And, because you enter it and there is that obvious sense of place. And it kind of makes you wonder a little bit, what was this? What is this? How did this get it started? It's a little bit different than the neighborhoods we see these days.
Right.
And once I dove into that and really started researching history here and kind of looking at it not just locally, but from a national perspective, I mean, honestly, like my jaw dropped. I'm like, this is unique. And I'm a broken record, but this is kind of my line about it. It's unique to Trussville. Yeah. It's unique to Jefferson County. Yeah. It's unique in Alabama. Yeah. Now you're like, okay, this is becoming a big deal.
Yep.
But it's unique in the nation.
Right.
And all right, I'm going to go on a history tangent real fast. History tangent. Because of that furnace you mentioned, this was a location chosen by the government, New Deal era, to have a housing project, whatever, homestead. And most of these where you get some acreage to farm, get your animals, all that. The houses were just kind of whatever, you get somewhere to live. Well, they start here, and that was the idea. The idea was the same thing here: get people farming, sustaining life on their own, subsistence homes,
Right.
And the ground was just so rock hard, and with from the slag left over from a blast furnace that operated right outside where Cahaba Elementary is now. The ground was just unsuitable for farming, and so the government had to, we got birds and squirrels. I love it. The government kind of had to pivot in their idea, and they said, all right, we want to show this image of America coming out of the Great Depression. We want to show happiness and fruitfulness and success. And so they said, we're going to show off here. No economy of labor, the best materials. Everybody had, I mean, you'd have 4 people working on one door because we're going to get it, we're going to get it, or we're going to get it right. And it's sustained, and it's, it's lasted.
They were incredibly well-built homes.
Incredibly well built.
And frankly, better built than some of those farming communities that were not necessarily built with this sort of really long term in mind.
Yeah.
Housing reform was in mind, but it wasn't
Not
like this. So of the 100 projects, that's why we're called the project, right? That name stuck. But of the 100 projects
I wish
in the U.S.,
Slag Heap had stuck.
that article was fascinating, right?
I really wish it would have stuck.
Of the 100, this is one of a kind. This is truly one of a kind in the country. And in Alabama, it is the largest. It was by far the largest that was built, and by number of homes,
right,
because
I mean, the original plan. I mean, there's 287.
Right.
That was the kind of the final total. I think it was 243 single family and 44 duplexes or something. But,
and most of those other ones were 75 homesteads, maybe 100, a few over 100.
Sure.
Nowhere near 287.
Because I think part of the original plan here was like 400.
Yes, that's right. So they were going to extend it from Rock Bridge and go on up
and
to,
go up Cherokee Drive,
right.
and all that.
And that didn't happen. That didn't end up happening.
Right.
But
I think it was the terrain and the landscape, and I think they kind of extended this way down Brentwood
right,
in this area, and
then protected it on the ends with green spaces. So we've got Rock Park, and we've got the a greenway along the Cahaba River, which were and then parks within it, like the mall, and Magnolia Mall, and we've got a little triangular mall down here on Brentwood.
Right.
That some residents also help keep up. I know that they just replaced the flag, the American flag there. It was just so well designed, and it was the 30s, so to have street lamps, to have sidewalks, to have plumbing, and then of course, many of these homes, they've totally redone their electrical, and they've added on to their homes, they've added on the back to the homes, they've added value to their homes, and for the most part, you still feel like you have stepped back in time. I love looking out from my kitchen window, and the quality of life that I experience here, it is really hard to put into words. And I think people experience that when they move in here, and they're raising their kids here, or many of them have moved back after raising families. And we've got, you've got some folks that can sit here and tell you, I lived in that house on Pine, and then so-and-so grew up on Oak Street, and for a little while I lived over on Meadow. I mean, that's
part of what I love. Like I am nowhere near where I need to be and working on a book about the Cahaba Project, but the people I have been talking to or have talked to, I'll ask them to tell me about, or they'll just start talking about so-and-so, and they won't tell me like I'm just pulling in random address. They won't say like, oh, he lived at 106 Pine Street. They'll say they lived in the old Sutter home, or the old Smith home, or the old Davis home, whoever, because that's how they know it, because there's just such a connection, such a personal aspect to it here. And I'm like, okay, I can't put Sutter home in the GPS. I need the actual address, but I think it's really cool, and it's just kind of lovely when people talk about it.
It is.
I love it.
And there's a whole new group of people that have moved in largely because of the school. They don't have those deep, connections to it, but they're building their own new so-and-so's house. And the kids, you know what I mean? The kids are redefining that for a new generation.
Yeah.
And there are more fences up. I do remember not too many years ago, I could stand on the back deck and holler at the kids that were 3 houses down on a trampoline, and I could see them clear as day.
Yeah.
It's special,
I love the way it was designed. I mean, I'm no city planner, architect, I'm none of that, but I love that everything that's within the boundaries of the Cahaba Project, there are no cul-de-sacs. Everything interconnects. Like
Right.
you can go everywhere and anywhere in this area via any of the streets. I mean, there's no
Right.
turning around. It's just, it was very well designed. And those who know me know I'm not going to be one to. This is another one of my lines that I've learned the last 2 years. I am usually not one to give the government credit.
Yeah.
I'm just not. But it was so well done. And even looking at the homes specifically, the school and Heritage Hall and all of that, outside of the homes, but the smaller single family homes,
Mm-hmm.
you rented them at first before the government sold them to private citizens in 1947, but they planned for people to grow into these homes. The smaller ones, they knew that you're probably going to have another kid or two more kids or whatever, and you can look at those blueprints and see on the back, it would say future addition, large thing,
Right.
large space for an addition. The lots were big enough for it, and they
Mm-hmm.
planned for that. And to me, it was just so ahead of its time. I mean, it's, I've read
I agree with you.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've read in places where, Rexford Tugwell, who was kind of the resettlement administration administrator, was here on one of those visits, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. And he was a big deal nationally. I mean, he was FDR's
The
right hand.
right,
He
the
was the
administrator.
guy, head
Mm-hmm.
honcho. And I guess he was here on a site visit. And I guess the story is kind of being tired of some of these names they were giving these farming communities, like a Greenville or a Greendale, or something that something about it just speaks beauty.
Uh-huh.
This place having the issue with the slag, he just said we're just going to call it Slag Heap Village, and I thought that was hilarious. But obviously, within a year of starting construction here, they changed it to Cahaba Village for two reasons. One being the proximity to the river, but
Right.
two, to honor Cahaba, the original capital of the state.
Yeah, I didn't know
That
that
was
until I
the
read that article.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the other reason. And
Which was located on the banks of the Cahaba, of
there you
course.
go.
Yeah.
And they started, after construction started and everything, they started
And
loving.
people weren't happy with Slag Heap, by the way. Like, it
No,
wasn't a,
no,
it had not endeared
it was
itself
not
to
it. I
anyone.
mean, there's a reason construction started in 1936, and that name was changed in
There you
1937.
go.
It was like that, but it started being lovingly referred to as the government's country club.
Right.
I've read that, and it's just it's
Lovingly or not, I think some folks that
I
were
love that.
outside the Cahaba might not have been thrilled about it, because from the outside looking in, I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been pleased with it either. Like, what, it was, but it was something to see. It
Yeah,
still is
still
something to
is.
see.
Well, it's a large reason, I believe. You can read back and really learn it for yourself in a way, but like, it's a large reason why Trussville is what it is today, because Trussville wasn't much at
Let's
that
not,
time.
yeah, let's really underscore how important it was,
Yeah,
because it was the success of the Cahaba Project and the big population of people living here,
yeah.
mostly commuting to Birmingham, but living
And
here.
Trussville was kind of the outskirts of the project, mostly this Main Street, Highway 11 area.
And loosely called Trussville, not incorporated or anything, right? Just kind of, it was called that as a community.
I think so.
It didn't incorporate until
And
1947.
it incorporated with the Cahaba
Right.
Project, and 1947, the government's finally getting out of
Right.
renting and owning these homes, and they're going to sell them to the individuals. And I guess the people that were living in Trussville uh, saw that, oh my gosh, they've got indoor plumbing,
Mm-hmm.
heating and air, all these modern appliances. We want to be a part of it. Like, how do I don't know if it was a jealousy thing or if it was just, let's come together and really do this together. And so they I don't know, held some sort of referendum, I don't think is the right word, but a vote. Should we
Mm-hmm.
incorporate
Right.
and absorb together?
Right.
And that's what they did.
And Trussville really inherited, in a way,
Mhm.
this neighborhood that, it's because it was built before Trussville officially became Trussville.
Yeah.
This
Trussville
neighborhood
became Trussville officially as a town with the Cahaba Project.
Right.
They kind of merged as one, and in 1947, because people get on me about this and say I'm too specific, but town is different from a city based on population. Town is fewer than 2,000 people. So 1947, they merged. It was a town.
Mm-hmm.
There were fewer. 10 years later, whenever the next census numbers were
Right.
available, 1957 is when Trussville officially became a
The
city.
city of
So
Trussville.
more
Right.
than 2,000 people. So little
But here's the thing.
trivia for you.
The Cahaba Project was the start.
Yeah,
of
it was
modern day Trussville.
it was the Kickstarter for
It
sure.
was. It
Yeah,
was.
it was. It was the Kickstart. So anything
Huge.
else?
I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and look at us now,
Yeah.
26,000 population.
26,123 at the last census.
And the fact that this, I mean, it's a testament that this neighborhood is still, like I said, the largest and most historically intact of all of those. And it's a testament to the great design and the forethought and the planning that went into this. And also, not just that, the classic architecture.
Oh my
You
gosh,
walk by
yeah.
these homes and you might see something that looks like it was added on in the 50s. You look at something that, but it's like that looks a little bit maybe from the 80s or 90s, you
Sure.
know, and you can place some of these additions. But for those that have added on and really kind of kept these proportions and like, you know,
The
like
scale and
the
all that.
scale and everything, that is a timeless piece of architecture. And I think that's a huge reason why we've endured in intact as
Oh
much as
yeah,
we have.
absolutely. We could talk about this stuff all day.
We could. Do we need to wrap it up?
I think so.
Okay.
I think we can wrap it. Anything else you want
Just that we didn't say that the home tour tickets that are $20
to? Yeah.
go to fundraise for the Stone Gateway projects.
Okay.
You had
Yeah.
mentioned that you can come into this neighborhood and not quite know something about it. You know, you just know you've entered something special. The Stone Gateways are going to change that. And they're going to do it in a really tasteful way that borrows from the original sandstone entrance without the gazebo.
Yeah.
We're not going to add 3 gazebos, but we're just adding the signage that says Cahaba Homestead Village, established 1936 to 1938, illuminated tastefully, nothing, you know, at night, a flag, American flag in the center behind each one.
Yep.
And you and they're tailor really, you know, designed to for the sites where they're going to be. And so they'll kind of end cap this our historic district, and they're going to look great.
Yeah. And y'all can, I can't remember the link off the top of my head, but cahabaheritage.org, there'll be a tab at the top of the page that says Stone Gateways. I think you can also get to it if you go to the Cahaba 100 tab on our on cahabaheritage.org as well. This has been different. It's a little crossover for me. I feel like this is not necessarily the tailgate, but kind of like CHHF live, or I don't know what to call it, but it's fun. I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
So
and bricks, people are donating bricks.
Yes.
They're so wonderful to see the bricks, and I have a feeling once the Stone Gateways are in, we're going to keep doing rounds of bricks, because that's when folks are really going to notice it. We can show you on Facebook, you know, 100 times. Sometimes actually seeing that structure is going to be like, we need to get ours in.
Yeah, exactly. I think
don't wait though. Get yours
taken
in,
off. Yeah, people are noticing it.
Good.
Yeah.
That's a part of your legacy in Trussville. I'm excited. I was driving by one of the sites of Parkway and Poplar, that beautiful triangular space where one of the signs is going to be, and told Joseph and my kids, I said, you know, you're going to come back here and visit, and you're going to see our brick there, and the O'Briens, and Brentwood Avenue, and you know,
that's cool.
and know that y'all were a part of that.
That's neat. I think we can wrap it.
All right, let's wrap it up.
All right. Appreciate y'all watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications, and we'll see y'all next time.